So people simply just are not happy with this new Forbidden Unlimited list. So make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. There's always going to be somebody unhappy out here, and the first big point here is going to be Shifter. I'm not surprised to see that the TCG remains leaving Shifter alone. It's almost like we have... I think the TCG acknowledges that without Max C running around, that we need to have some sort of potential card in the meta to kind of do the thing. And the thing is, have a level of disruption / turn skips. I know Shifter's an unfair card, but the thing you got to think about right now is, with Malice kind of running around in the meta, do you really want a Shifter a Malice player? Do you really just want to allow your opponent just to normal summon and go, wow, thanks, friend. That's the nicest thing anybody's done for me. I really love that you've put me into this fun situation that allows me to play the game. You are absolutely just the nicest friend I have ever had. They proceed to full combo you. Like, what? Do you really want to? You really want to do that? Like, I already imagine that the Ritual Beast versus Malice matchup is an absolute slugfest out here, and not very fun. But I understand why seeing Shifter not sticking around in the game is why people are upset about this. I think that Shifter should have at least went to 2, allowed Malice to still kind of play the darn thing. But we are heading into that meta where it doesn't really matter all that much. Yeah, I mean, it does matter, sure. Like, heck, man, I've seen Ryzel decks citing this thing. Alright, like, Ryzel can play under Shifter. You just can't EX dump. Okay, sure. So anyway, if my opponent can't play the game, but the amount of decks that really care about this right now, definitely gonna be a little bit rough. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry that Shifter didn't go. I'm sorry that Shifter was one of the final potential straws for you playing this game, but okay. Bonfire. Now, this is, I still think that this is a very interesting thing, because it was very apparent that Konami should have looked at Bonfire, this list, and said, hey, Ryzel is going to be this severely, severely broken deck. So we allow the deck to come out here, and I think some of my own personal thoughts tie into expecting us to get a later list. The fact we just got this list so early changes a lot of my mentalities with this. Because we got this so early, you now have to think about, okay, so when's our next list? Because if we'd waited till the end of December for a list, then we could have put Bonfire to 1. It would have been a consistency hit. You allow for January, February, and some of March to kind of take play out here, and then you give Ryzel 7 Tachyon, with the possibility of wanting to hit something in Ryzel as a consistency switcheroo to kind of try to slow the deck down. That was what my personal thoughts were with this. And of course, if Rhoda is limited to 1, a card that literally is Rhoda with a once per turn restriction on it, I can imagine being just that. But no, Konami chose to leave Ryzel at full power for the next 3 months, which means, hey, every Fire player out here, while you did lose OSS, and I understand why you're kind of pissed about that, unfortunately, you know, you still get Bonfire. You still have this consistency piece, but you also had people that were upset about this. So, once again, the two camps are going, no, I don't want to see Bonfire sticking around. It's too broken. It's making Ryzel too consistent. But on the other side of the equation, you know, you have the Volcanic players and all the other Rogue players that are like, hey, I got a couple more months to play Bonfires. I can actually, you know, play these. And I think that's fine. You've got... Nobody's ever going to truly be happy, honestly. It's... hitting older potential meta decks. So, I should probably have rephrased that, but seeing the death of the Fire King, the potential death of Tenpai, and Yubel all being checked. Yes, there are some people out there that are happy that opening the Spirit Gates came back, but there are a lot of people that are kind of upset that Phantom of Yubel went away. Of course, you've also got all these Tenpai budget players out here that are not happy about Tenpai being hit either. You've got to remember, Konami really, really, really just said, hey, you had to wait till the 10s to get the Trident Dragion reprint. And then, boom, not even, 3 months later, you know, Tenpai gets created off the ground. Now, I hate to tell you this, but Tenpai was a completely ignorant deck and it was very unfun. If Tenpai was your only means of playing this game, well, I'm sorry that the most broken deck that you could ever actually think of that was so very cheap, this needed these hits. They needed to clean this garbage up. I am not going to defend that, all right? This deck was broken. But to be upset that, you know, you spend all this money on these meta decks, you know the cycle of this game. Nobody out here, and I mean nobody, is going to deny the fact that Konami does the same infinite power cycle BS every single time. You guys remember, what was it, Zodiac a while back, where Konami reprinted all the, they held Zoo up for so long, and then they 10 reprinted it. And the same thing just happened with this. This is now that potential out here that you see that, hey, you spent all this money on it. You got your Trident Dragion, all right? You asked your friend. They gave you their 10 reprint. You waited this long. And it was just like all those Zodiac players all those years ago that picked up their course, and what, like 2-3 weeks later, bam, they're just banned. So reprint equity and things like that, people forget about stories like that. But they do exist, all right? Now, money. This is a very, very important one right now. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the most expensive that it continues to escalate. Every single format. The problem right now is the hand trap cost. All right, you have Mulcharmies. You have the third big Mulcharmy coming here in the near future, which is the Banish Graveyard Checker that will draw you cards from those options. My problem with this card's existence and all these Charmies is your what is it? Peruli is near like 250, 300 for a playset. You've got Fool Wars, which is like 120. So for 6 cards to play Modern Era Yu-Gi-Oh!, you are looking at $500+. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. They reprinted SP Little Knight. Yes, I am happy that the former $100 card is now available in $5, $6, $7, depending on whichever rarity you want. Like that's cool for one extra that card. But you've got another $500 price tag and 6 staples now that you have to worry about. And the money is a major thing. I've actually seen recently in my own personal friend group, I've seen 4 friends saw out of this game. All right, 4 people just they're like, I have these Perulias sitting here. You know, I have some higher rarity stuff that I picked up when it was nothing. You know, some of these QCRs. You know, these staples are so very expensive right now, and people are looking at these things and they're like, I don't want to sit on these. You know, I'm not enjoying Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, and that's fine. Cash out, get your money. These cards will get reprinted eventually. Get that financial equity back out of the game if you believe that it's not worth it. This is why people are unhappy with this list, because this list did the same standard Konami thing. It makes you buy the latest set. It makes you go, hey, I hope you got those Mulcharmies. I hope you have all of this other stuff in order to play the game. And the average player, you know, while you might be able to do it in a certain burst, you know, there are certain phases of Yu-Gi-Oh! That are cheaper than others. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. But, you know, having to go, well, do I have to buy a case of this set in order to get both decks that I want to play? Plus get the higher rarity stuff. Is that going to be cheaper than buying these on pre-order? You know, that's where this comes down to. So the pure money basis right now, in combination with the ban list, you know, hitting the real only competitively viable budget decks, you know, just after Konami put, you know, Wanted, Diabellstar, all of these cards into cheaper spots, you know, Trident Dragion, getting those availabilities. That's the cycle that Konami does, and it's not going to change. I'm sorry to tell you guys that, you know. And unfortunately, yes, you'll quit. You'll take a break out of the game, and you know you'll either come back or you won't. But somebody else is going to start their competitive journey, and it's going to be you that's going to be left behind. You know, the world doesn't stop turning because you have, you know, exited out of the game. The community will still exist, and it's one of the saddest things. So money is not for everybody on this game, and I perfectly understand that right now. I also think some of these other points are not too far off. But, you know, once again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always going to be a game that you should only play it if you can afford it. Or get some paper and run some proxies and just play with your friends for fun. All right, there's nothing wrong with that either. But that's why people are unhappy right now. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace.
Patrons, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.